during the beginning of the Mass, we say, Lord, have mercy. But I wonder, how much do we really think about mercy in our lives and what it means? I know that I don't think about it a lot, but I think that's the genius of Pope Francis's call to make this year a holy year of mercy. That really mercy is something that should be a part of our awareness of our daily lives, and it's there to transform our lives in some way or some form, and that's why we say it in the Mass every Sunday. Last week I was at dinner with my wife, and we were talking about our Lenten practices, and I usually try to do something around prayer, fasting, almsgiving, the traditional 3 practices of Lent. And so I totally had prayer and fasting taken care of. I knew what I was going to do for that. But I was really struggling with, what am I going to do for almsgiving during this Lent? And which is ironic, because the act of almsgiving is actually an act of mercy. So any type of almsgiving is really being merciful. And here I was struggling, like, well, what am I going to do? And I think part of the struggle was, when you're being merciful, it's hard to conjure up moments where you're going to be acting mercifully. I mean, you can't really anticipate that you're going to be needing to help somebody or be merciful to somebody. And so I was really struggling with that. Fast forward to the end of our dinner. We're walking out of the restaurant, and I saw a guy that I know. His name's Keith, and he's homeless. And so I said hi to Keith, and he said hi back, and then we kept walking. And then we got to our car, and another guy came up who I think was homeless as well. And he started asking me for something, and he shook my hand and gave me a hug. And on the outside, I was being kind to him, but on the inside, I was just kind of like, man, can I just get back to my date with my wife? And we got to get home to the babysitter, and it's just interrupting. And so I was kind of just thinking, like, can we just get this over with? It's just, I want to get going. And he asked for some money to pay for a room to stay that night. And I don't carry cash with me normally anyways. And so I was like, how am I going to help this guy? And so I was just like, yeah, I don't have any cash. And so then he walked off. We got in the car and we're driving, and a couple minutes later, I suddenly have this thought. I'm like, holy cow, just an hour ago, I was talking about how I want to make acts of mercy a part of my Lent. And here I was, I had 2 opportunities to do it. I had the chance to feed the hungry and a chance to shelter the homeless, and I totally missed that opportunity. I just totally missed it. I was looking for opportunities to be merciful, and I still missed it. And so on the one hand, I was kind of disappointed in myself, but I also almost kind of had to laugh at myself because I realized, gosh, this business of being merciful is not easy. It's hard. And I really need God's help in this. I mean, I didn't think, is it really that hard to be merciful? And I was just like, yeah, it is hard. Oh my gosh, it's hard, and I need God's help. A couple days later, I was reading Scripture and for the daily readings, and the passage from Isaiah made this all surface up for me again. And the passage said, if you bestow bread on the hungry and you satisfy the afflicted, the light shall rise for you in the darkness. And it made me just think, and how important mercy is in our lives, that if we make mercy a part of our lives, it really is the power to transform ourselves and really transform the world. And that's why I think Pope Francis is calling for this year of mercy. And then I read the gospel that same day, which was just also kind of smacked me in the face. And it was that gospel where Jesus is calling the tax collector Levi, and all the Pharisees are like, why are you always eating with tax collectors? And he says, I came to call sinners. The healthy don't need doctors. The sick do. And it made me think again of that night where I could have helped 2 people. And it made me think, gosh, I'm in need of a doctor. I'm in need of Jesus to help me with mercy. And yeah, I'm a sinner. I mean, that night I totally blew it. Because I need help with mercy. I think that's why Pope Francis is calling us to this year of mercy, to say our world is in need of mercy. I mean, look around. The world is in need of mercy and of love. And Pope Francis also said that the greatest sin of our generation is indifference. Now think about that. Indifference and mercy, those 2 things are totally opposite. You can't be indifferent and also be merciful. It just doesn't happen. The reason why we're not merciful is because we are indifferent. I was indifferent that night to those 2 men. I was indifferent to their pain and to their suffering and to their needs, and that's why I didn't answer the call to be merciful to them. Even though they were right in front of my face, and even though I was looking to help and be merciful just an hour before that. That's why we need Jesus to help us. You know, this Wednesday at the Catholic Student Center, we have a perfect opportunity to help us figure out how to be more merciful and to recognize in our lives when we're not merciful. And I think that's the first step to being merciful. It's first recognizing that we're not so great at being merciful. And so the sacrament of confession, we do this confession marathon every year. And Wednesday, you have a chance to come to the Catholic Student Center and figure out and admit to yourself how you're not merciful and how you want God to help you to be more merciful. And that's what I love about confession. It's this place, it's not this place to come and just be, pounded on about how much you've sinned, but it's more a matter of being able to recognize how much we need God's help. And in this year of mercy, to be able to make it about mercy and how much we need mercy in our lives and how much the world needs mercy, that we can be agents of that. I know for me, to be able to first admit, I need mercy and I need help from God to give me that mercy. Lord, have mercy. Christ, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. May you make this Lent about mercy, because I know that's something I'm going to be working on too.